dawn of a new generation is here, a new civilization. It all began in the mountains and valleys of our plains, where the first of our kind was born by Mother Nature, the cradle of humankind. Ever since then, our species have thrived. We've learned how to speak, write, fly, and create new worlds. Our journey of civilization has taken us to many lands, beyond waters and far into the depth of space. Today, the force of evolution has taken us to the new path. Are we ready to take this leap? To go on this journey, we must return to our origins. As we enter a new epoch for our species, we must understand that the origin of mankind is literally its future. We are leading humanity to this next phase. This is an invitation to begin the journey of the next level of our technological progress, from where our civilization began. Introducing GEN4IR, accelerating our singularity future for development in Africa.
TAF's Global Summit for 2022 will be held at the beautiful Sun City Resort in the Northwest Province of South Africa. It brings together delegates and speakers from various parts of the world who will come and share their experience and expertise and help to come up with collaborative solutions between academia, private and public institutions.
Now, at this summit, first, you will learn about the exponential technologies in communications and information, robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotech, and much more that are going to allow entrepreneurs and reformers in Africa to transform their economies, their institutions, and their whole societies. Second, you are going to be able to meet and talk with those reformers, the intellectuals, and the entrepreneurs who are going to create this transformation. And third, you can be part of the transformation yourself at this conference. You will be engaged. You will see what the future of Africa can be and should be if we unleash the creative intelligence and power of South Africans and people in all African countries.
We have to move along with the moving times. And if you're really concerned about the future of humanity and what we can do in order to change it or make it better for ourselves and for the coming generation, you have to be there. I'll be there 23rd and 24th of March 2022, Sun City, South Africa.
I'm glad that no matter what, we can organize this special event in Sun City, and hope to see you soon, guys. Please check our website, our social media. We are working for you day by day to get together the prominent names all around the world, from biotech, longevity industry, eVTOL, flying car market, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence as well.
Futurists, transhumanists, singularitarians, longevity scientists, industry pioneers will converge to produce ideas that will inspire projects that will drive the fourth industrial revolution. TAFS is a gateway in and out of Africa. We have been connecting governments, companies, organizations, policymakers and entrepreneurs to come together to think, create and build the future of our species. This summit is a futurecast. It features everything from education, blockchain solutions, smart cities, medicine, life extension, amongst many others. Become part of the minds that will fashion the next generation of the fourth industrial revolution. It begins here. Welcome to Sun City. The dawn of a new generation is here, a new civilization. It all began in the mountains and valleys of our plains, where the first of our kind was born by Mother Nature, the cradle of humankind. Ever since then, our species have thrived. We've learned how to speak, write, fly, and create new worlds. Our journey of civilization has taken us to many lands, beyond waters and far into the depth of space. Today, the force of evolution has taken us to the new path. Are we ready to take this leap? To go on this journey, we must return to our origins. As we enter a new era species,
So currently
we must
the intro is playing.
the origin
Once
of
it's
marriage.
done, we can get started.
We are leading humanity to this next phase. This is an invitation to begin the journey of the next level of technological progress. Where our civilization. Introducing GEN4IR. Accelerating our singularity future for development in Africa.
Global Summit for 2022 will be held at the beautiful Sunset Resort in the northwest province of South Africa. It brings together delegates and speakers from various parts of the world who will come and share their experience and expertise and help to come up with collaborative solutions between academia, private and public institutions.
Now, at this summit, first, you will learn about the exponential technologies in communications and information, robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotech, and much more that are going to allow entrepreneurs and reformers in Africa to transform their economies, their institutions, and their whole societies. Second, you are going to be able to meet and talk with those reformers, the intellectuals, and the entrepreneurs who are going to create this transformation. And third, you can be part of the transformation yourself at this conference. You will be engaged. You will see what the future of Africa can be and should be if we unleash the creative intelligence and power of South Africans and people in all African countries.
We have to move along with the moving times. And if you're really concerned about the future of humanity and what we can do in order to change it or make it better for ourselves and for the coming generation, you have to be there. I'll be there 23rd and 24th of March 2022, Sun City, South Africa.
I'm glad that no matter what, we can organize this special event in Sun City, and hope to see you soon, guys. Please check our website, our social media. We are working for you day by day to get together the prominent names all around the world, from biotech, longevity industry, eVTOL, flying car market, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence as well.
Futurists, transhumanists, singularitarians, longevity scientists, industry pioneers will converge to produce ideas that will inspire projects that will drive the fourth industrial revolution. TAVS is a gateway in and out of Africa. We have been connecting governments, companies, organizations, policymakers and entrepreneurs to come together to think, create and build the future of our species. This summit is a futurecast. It features everything from education, blockchain solutions, smart cities, medicine, life extension, amongst many others. Become part of the minds that will fashion the next generation of the fourth industrial revolution. It begins here. Welcome to Sun City.
All right. Good day, good evening, good day, everyone, from wherever you are joining us live. This is TAVS, this is FDTV, TAVS Future Discussions Podcast, and this is a very special edition. Ahead of our summit that is happening in South Africa, the 24th to 25th of March next month. We are organizing organizing interviews to have a glimpse into the mind of the extraordinary and renowned people who are going to be gracing the summit. And I have today one of our renowned speakers, an extraordinary man, Karaki. He is an inventor and serial entrepreneur. He's equally the founder and CEO at 4i Africa. 4i Africa is a company that is focused on advancing insight, innovation, implementation, and creating impact across Africa and different and in different ways, helping people to bring up these innovations in place. So our Karaki will be live at the summit. So we brought him onto the show. Just a little chat. Let's have a little chatty chat on what he's bringing on board and the extraordinary work that he's doing. I must say that our Karaki is doing extraordinary work in the field of aquaponics and agriculture and food sustainability. So it's with great pleasure that I'd like to welcome you, Mr. Karaki, to Future Discussions podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. Is everything okay there?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, or good day, depending on where you are. Thank you for the introduction. You know, normally I'm doing a lot of technical innovations in renewable energies, clean energy. I think we're number 3 in the world when it comes to clean energy by using compressed air. So the battery industry is not quite happy with me, but that's the level of disruption. That's really what it's all about, because disruption means change, and we need to change. I mean, if you look at the way that the world is, we're not in actually good shape here. We're actually battling, and
Exactly.
with climate changes and carbonization and all those things. We can't just keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. We have to do something different. So that means there's disruption. So renewable energies, we deal compressed air storage. We're dealing with hydrogen. We can generate hydrogen now. And we have this, which is related to tonight. We have probably the world's best, it's called a light panel. It's not a solar panel, but what we do is we build grow houses. Now, the idea is we can now not only provide energy through these solar glass, but we can tint them to the right frequency, which means that it's called far red, and it allows us to ensure that we can double the growth of plants. So our topic, or my topic at Sun City, is going to be basic. As much as I'd love to do the blockchain and everything else, I'm going to go to aquaponics, hydroponics, vertical food gardens. It's to do with food. And maybe before I just get into that, the reason why this is important is that Africa, in particular Africa, but it's happening everywhere else, we are in probably the worst food crisis since 1945. We have climate change, we have population growth, we have regional conflict, and logistics, and for a whole bunch of reasons, we have a lot of people who are starving. I had the opportunity to go to the UN World Food Program a couple of weeks ago, and the statistics are frightening about how many people are starving. And agriculture is, of course, the breadbasket. There's over 65% of the business in Africa is agriculture. So, we have that crisis. We're running out of water, climate change, and then to make things worse, farming or agriculture contributes more than 25% of the emissions that we have. So, people are saying, how dare you? You're attacking the food that we need to grow. And you're saying, you can't do that. Well, we've we've got solutions coming up for all of that. But let's get to the task at hand. Aquaponics, what we want to do is to introduce aquaponics to all the schools in Africa as a start. We want to go bigger, but let's start with the schools. Now, aquaponics and hydroponics, there's two different ones. Hydroponics, the principles are the same. Hydroponics and aquaponics are ways to grow, but we don't use soil and we use very limited water. So a hydroponic system uses 10% of the water that a normal farm would use. And I think you're all aware that we have or are, but we're running out of water. So we can't continue to water the fields like we do. We lose the water into the ground, and then in a lot of cases that water is being contaminated from plastics and fertilizer and all those types of things. So we can't use it again. So one of the advantages of hydroponics and aquaponics is that once we put water into the system, it will stay in the system. And all we have to do is add fertilizer, special nutrients, and that's how we keep the plants growing. So first point, there's no soil. There's no pesticides. We only use water to grow the plant. So depending on the cycle, maybe once every hour, water with nutrients passes through the roots of strawberries, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, really nice veggies, any of that kind of thing. And that's what grows. So we can grow beautiful organic lettuce in just under 4 weeks. And there are some places around the world that are doing about 100,000 heads of lettuce a day. And this is from, it could be an abandoned factory somewhere. It doesn't have to be that large. And I'll talk about that part of it a little bit later. That's called vertical food gardens. So back to hydroponics. Hydroponics deals with the growing of vegetables. Yeah. Aquaponics, which you'll hear more of, aquaponics is a really interesting twist. And what we do is we have think about a tank at the bottom somewhere in your garden. It's got maybe in a small building or a cover. So you have a tank at the bottom. We fill that with tilapia or catfish. Small fish, and then they grow. And then on top of that tank, we put another tank, but this time filled with vegetables. We pump the water from the fish tank to the top of the vegetable tank, and we spray the vegetables with the fish water. And you can hear the plants, they're going, this water, we love this water, it's fantastic. And as a result of the fish water, the vegetables will grow literally twice as fast, right? Then the water drips down from the vegetable tank into the fish tank. And again, now the fish are at the bottom saying, oh, this is fantastic. They love it too. And they start growing. So it's probably one of the happiest marriages you can find. Fish on the bottom, vegetables on the top, and they are growing literally twice as fast as they normally would. And away you go. So that's that's aquaponics. Yeah, it's growing fish and vegetables literally at the same time.
Oh.
The secret there, and I'll keep referring to fish. To grow this properly, you need nutrients. You need fertilizer. You can't use the fertilizers that you use on the ground. You need fertilizers that will mingle or mix with the water. So there's special organic fertilizers that you can use. However, the best fertilizer is the fish. Call it the fish poo or anything like that, but that solution, when mixed with water, helps the plants the most. And Africa doesn't have an abundance of fish. In fact, the world doesn't have an abundance of fish. So if you have a successful system, and it can be anywhere, it doesn't have to be near the ocean or anything. It can be literally in the middle of the desert if you want. You can grow fresh vegetables and fresh fish. So that is aquaponics. As I indicated before, there is a new system called vertical food gardens. So when we do this aquaponic system, we lay down some tables, or we can do it close to the ground, and we go across. So we go left to right. in a say a 10 by 3 space. Vertical food gardens is the opposite. We take the pipes or the containers, the tunnels, the water tunnels that we put the vegetables in, and we take them up to the roof. So now instead of having 8 or 9 plastic tunnels along the ground, we can have 200 pipes going from the top to the bottom and put plants in each one of those. All the water still goes into the fish tank at the bottom, but you have these 200 plastic pipes, PVC or whatever. We're experimenting with recycled Coke bottles, plastic bottles. The water comes down, it waters the plants, and then it grows. If you start putting that many plants, you will be able to feed feeding so much. So what you're doing is you're making maximum use of the space. A horizontal a food garden, like I say, goes back and forth, and you can only put so many pipes in there. But when you go up and down, where am I? Up and down, then you can put lots. And we've had a number of cities now all over the world who are faced with a lot of starving people in the city. And we're able to now feed them nutritious food. Many people ask us about the cost. Well, right now, if I was to grow the lettuce or the tomatoes or whatever, and you brought your bag or a little box, and you said, Al, I want some tomatoes and cucumbers and lettuce and that type of thing, then I would go to the floor where they're growing. I would pick them. They're very fresh. They're still growing. And I would put them in your bag or your box. I would be able to sell you those vegetables and fish at a price lower than the supermarket is charging you. And people say, how can you do that? Well, there's two things. Yeah. One, I don't have to pay for the transport. In many cases, South Africa, Nigeria, the food comes from a farm, maybe up north or in the east or whatever, and you put all those cucumbers or all those tomatoes into a truck, but somebody has to pay for the diesel and the fuel for the truck. So that's the first cost. The second cost, which people don't realize, is the packaging. When you go into a supermarket, everything is wrapped in plastic or whatever, and that packaging can be very expensive. So if you don't pay for that, and if you come to our vertical food garden, you don't have to pay for the packaging, you don't have to pay for the transport, because we have grown that food right there. It's like literally next door to you. That's why it's not that expensive. And with the way things are going, we need to be able to feed lots of people. We need to be able to feed the nutritious food, and we must be able to do it at a very low cost. And so we believe that this kind of technology, although it's not like blockchain or telecoms, is important because, as you know, food, water, and air are your three basic requirements. If you don't have any of those, you are not on this planet. You will not be able to survive. So we're doing this to get the basics right. And then aquaponics, hydroponics, vertical food gardens really is the farming of the future. And so that's the way we're headed. Maybe just on a last note, the happy because they're saying, gee, you're growing all this food in the city. So what are we supposed to do? And I said, well, there's other kind of crops, and we're just now putting together a concept where um, we think that hemp, and everybody thinks, oh, hemp and marijuana, no, hemp and marijuana are different. They're two different things. Hemp, you can make baby diapers, you can make hempcrete, which is much better than concrete. You can make so many things, in fact, 50,000 products. So we are going to encourage the farmers, and we're busy working on a global project where we will provide hemp seeds to every person, farmer, household in Africa, in South America, hopefully Australia and India as well. Because hemp also sequests the carbon. As you understand, the carbon issue, the climate change issue, we have to get the carbon out of the air. Hemp can take out more carbon than trees. The nutrition from hemp is better than any other plant in the world. It is the most fantastic, widely used plant in the world. And yes, there are places where it's legal and there are places where it's illegal. But because of the nutrition issues and because of all these products that we can make, we can actually create an economy, a fantastic economy for any country who can grow hemp. So watch this space. It'll come through with TAPID because we're working together on a lot of big projects. And I'm just so fortunate and happy to be able to work with TAPID. I mean, they have vision. Everybody's, they're jacked up. This conference, I mean, it'll be fantastic when you see and hear all these things. I mean, we're talking about the future, and that's what's important. I mean, I'm dealing with a lot of government, and no disrespect, but they're analog. They're not digital, and that is a big problem. The analog versus digital.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we need to move into the digital age.
Yeah.
If we want to survive, we have to do that. And aquaponics at least will give you the food. Then you have
Yeah.
to go and do the blockchain and the telecoms and everything to other
No,
people.
it's
Sorry,
very
go ahead.
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear you talk about this because there is this talk about food scarcity, the looming food scarcity happening in the world. In other parts of the world, like let's say in Europe and other developed parts of the world, food scarcity is usually not a huge question because of there is seemingly some abundance. Yeah, some kind of abundance that is there. But when you come to other parts of the world, Europe and in Africa and Asia, you find that it's a prevalent problem. And now, whilst it might not be endemic to the point that it's like really killing people and trading them off the street, but it's usually a matter of time. And it's very interesting because we talk about all of these challenges that our planet is witnessing, like global warming, the climate change, and how it's really transforming things and changing things drastically. But it's very hopeful because it's people like you that still give us hope when we talk about the most basic things of life, like food, water, shelter, and these things are so basic that we might get into the illusion that we have conquered those areas of life only to have them coming back and hitting us hard. And now there is this looming scarcity that people like you understand. You have this foresight that allows you to see through into the future and then to adapt technologies that can quite disruptive, but are also very innovative to the point that it can save us. And that's really what we want at this summit, because we want to create the platform, for these kind of ideas to, blossom, for this kind of, not only the ideas to blossom, but for them to be followed concomitantly with practical projects. And I'm very happy that you talked about bringing this to schools, because we have a program that we're going to be also presenting on the summit, future studies. And it's very interesting to incorporate these into it, because young people who are the leaders of tomorrow have to start understanding how these technologies can be implemented. Because if you want to create a future for the next generation, or if you want to solve the problems of the future, you have to learn how to think strategically about it, and you have to understand the problems that are at hand, and then know how to the solutions that are best suited for it. And it's very interesting, these solutions that you're bringing on board, they are efficient and effective. That's really thing about it, because when you talk about technologies like these, usually people get scared, like how much is it going to take to implement these things. But it's very surprising, because I hear you talking about these things, and it's quite, I look at the implementation is quite simple and it's very efficient in its usage, and it's at the heart of what most governments need: efficiency within the economy, efficiency within the system. Just think about what you're talking about, using the same water to take care of the fish and the plants at the same time. That's mind blowing, because
Yeah.
and a lot of what is causing the food wastage and scarcity we have in our world today is because of its sheer is carelessness and wastage. We waste a lot of food, we waste a lot of resources. We don't look at how nature actually recycles resources and then brings it back to create more out of that. So I think that's the extraordinary thing that you bring to that, and I can't wait to see your presentation at the summits. I can't
Okay.
wait.
Thank you. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
No, thank
interesting.
you. Thank you. And it's very important, you know. I mean, all this technology is great, but we have to survive. And
Exactly.
I'm able to now bring you food anywhere in the world, and I'm able to bring you water anywhere in the world. So
Wow.
I feel pretty happy that I've started something anyway.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Thank you so much, sir. So
Thank you.
guys, uh, uh, we are look forward to meeting Karaki at the summit next year. So you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. This is breakthrough technology. A lot of companies have been trying on implementing this, but it's very reassuring and hopeful to see someone that is working at this kind of a project at this scale, and it brings a lot of hope, and it's actually practical. So we are very delighted and happy to have Karaki at the summit, and we look forward to the amazing presentation is going to be doing, and how these can be brought into rolled out into schools, and how they are going to be adopted. So you don't want to miss this. Head into GEN4IR.org and then get your tickets and get ready for this summit. It's coming up 24th to 25th of March 2022 in Rustenburg, South Africa. And then, look forward to seeing you guys. And thank you so much, Karaki, and look forward to seeing you. Awesome.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.
Okay.